Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to start our CRUD application, and we will create a CRUD application using Spring Boot and integrate it with MongoDB. So without getting delay, let's get started. So first we need to create our cloud database storage for MongoDB. So for this we need Atlas MongoDB. We need to log in Atlas MongoDB. So how you can go to the Atlas MongoDB? You can search Atlas in Google, and as you can see the first link mongodb.com/atlas/slash database. So you can go there, and yeah, it is loaded, and here you can log in. So on the three dot you can sign in, and you can sign in with your Google account. So I'll use my Google account, and your personal Google account you can use, and here I accept the privacy policy and terms of services. So I'll submit, and my account will be created in Atlas MongoDB. So here we only allowed to create one free storage. So we will go to user preference. We will go to later to enable this dark mode. So let me close this. Okay, so what we will do here, the interface, it is open here. As you can see, we will create a database, create a deployment, or we will go to the database and we will build a database. Here we can use this free one. I'll create it. I'll verify. Okay, so here it is asking for username and password. So you have to create a username and password, and you have to remember. So I'm creating username root, and my password will also be root. Choose my own password, and I'll use a simple password because later we will use this username and password in our Spring Boot configuration, database configuration. So we have to remember this username and password. So I'm here creating user. Okay, so you also have to do one thing. You have to add my current IP address. Okay, your IP address is already added. Let me edit this. Let me remove this. Okay, and let me add it from here. Okay, so this is the IP address of we need to create one more IP address, 0.0.0.0/0, and what this is, this is my local to create a connection. Okay, so you have to do this, you have to add this is, this is I mean mandatory. So I think here we are done, so we'll finish and close. Hide the we can, you can save it on your local or you can skip it. So my database is creating. Yeah, okay, so here it is, my database is created, and I'll go inside my database. Okay, so my database cluster 0 is created. Okay, so here I'll browse my connection. Okay, so currently I don't have any data inside my database. I do not have any collection inside my database. So um, I'll go to overview, and we will see the configuration. Okay, so this is shared one, as we are using the free services, so it will be shared one. Okay, so what we do, we connect from here, and we have to connect our database. So we'll go to driver. We are using this service in our Java, and we will use Java 4.3 or later version. And this is our connection string, so we have to note it down. So make sure you note it down from in anywhere. So inside your, this is your username, as we have created root, and inside the password we have to write our own password, root. Okay, so you can also do one thing. What you can do is you can download a MongoDB Compass, and you can uh, go to the new connection, and you can paste the connection string here, and when you click connect, so it will be connect. So my cluster 0 is connected from that Atlas Cloud Database. So I think we are done doing setup of the database. So as we have connected our MongoDB Compass with our cloud MongoDB database. So first of all, we are going to create a new database. So our database name should be anything logical. So we are making a CRUD application, so we'll name it as CRUD application. So this will be our database name, and we'll make a collection name. So in our CRUD application, uh, we are going to make something like let's say students. So we are going to make our students repository, and we are going to make a CRUD operation on that. So we'll create it. So yes, our database is now created. So all the columns and all the other things we will handle it through our code. So let's get started. So first you need to create a Spring Boot application. So we can create it from Spring Initializer, and this will be the link start.spring.io. From here we'll choose our Spring Boot project. We are going to make it May 1, and the Spring Boot version you can select it uh, any version. So here the group name we can change it like com.lets.learn, and the artifact name, let's make it the group name, and we are making a demo project for a Spring Boot CRUD application. So this all the settings will be visible on our pom.xml. I'll show you where it will be visible, and our package name will be start from com.lets.learn. So we are going to make it, and this will be packaging as a jar, and the Java version you can select any 21 or 17. You can also change it later in the pom.xml, or you have to add dependencies. So first dependency we need to add is uh, spring web, because we are going to make some restful apis. Also we are going to um, use our Tomcat as a default container, default server. So we will need this. So the other dependency will be mongo spring data MongoDB. So as we are going to connect our MongoDB with the Spring Boot application, we need this dependency. So with this dependency we are good to go for now. We'll click generate, and our zip file is downloaded. We are going to open it, and it is extracted in our download folder. Now we are going to open in Eclipse. we'll choose our workspace. So where it is in the download section, and it is, we are going to open the download section. Okay, we're going to launch it. Yeah, now our Eclipse is open, and right now we are going to import our project. So as our project is already a Maven project, so we are going to import it, and we have to choose the option existing Maven project. So this is our Spring Boot zip file extracted folder. We are going to open, and this form is visible in the projects. So we are going to finish, and as our project is importing, as you can see in the bottom, and the process is going on, and this is downloading all the jars locally in our system. So it will take something like a minute. Yeah, so now it is downloaded. As we are going to open that folder, so this is our project structure. This is our source main Java. All the code we are going to write inside this source.main.java. This is our resource. All the properties we are going to add in this application.properties, and the other thing is that pom.xml. As you can see, the details we have entered in Spring Initializr here, in the group, the artifact, the name, the description, the package name, all is visible in the pom.xml. As you can see here, the group ID is this, artifact ID is this, and the version we have selected is snapshot right now, and the version of Spring Boot is 3.1.7. we have selected that, and the name is what we have entered in, that is Spring Initializr. We can also change it here. So it doesn't matter, like if you have created your project with a different name, you can change it later in the pom.xml. So this is the description, and we have a Java version 17. So we can also change that version from here, and you have to change the build path from here also. If you, let's say if you select the Java version 8, so you have to change the build path, configure build path, and in the libraries you have to remove it, and when you remove it, you have to add external jar, and where your Java 8 is downloaded, you have to add it. So I'm not going to do that. I will work with Java 17. So the dependency we have added, there is only two dependency we have added. Is the one is Spring Data MongoDB, and the other one is Spring Web. Okay, and this is the Spring Starter test. This is provided by the Spring Initializr. So that's all for the pom.xml. So we are going to start our CRUD application. So first thing, we need to create some packages, and we are going to follow some standard, industry standard. So this is our main application from where we are going to run our application. So this is the application. When we right click from here, and when we choose run as Java application, so we have error in the project. I think it's a pom error, so we can skip that. So we can skip that, it's not an issue. So we'll choose run as Java application, and we are going to proceed. So I think class not found is there, so we can do one thing. We can just maven update project, so it will re-download that jars and dependency which is not downloaded, and our that error has been resolved. So now we can run as a Java application. So yes, the project is started, our application is started, and it is started on Tomcat 8080. So our server port is 8080. So we can also change this server port, but I'll tell you later. So right now we have a project running in the running phase. So right now we are going to stop and we will start our development. So first we need to create a package for entity. Entities is something like that. We have created a that student collection name in our MongoDB. So this will be the entities. You can directly refer as the collection names. So we'll create entities here. The other package we are going to need is REST. So we are going to make a controllers in this package. The other package we need is services, and services.impl implementation we need for the service. The other one is we are going to need is repositories. Okay, and later if we need some other package we will create it on that time. So I'm going to refresh this and this will be in the sequence. So first we will create our entity. So we have a students entity, and here we are going to connect this entity with our collection name on MongoDB. So there is a annotation document for this, and we are going to name it and the name tag will be collection and our collection will be students. Okay, so our entity is directly connected to this collection name. Now we need to make some fields. So private integer id, private string name, private string address, and private string contact number, and private string email. Okay, so this field is created, and this field will be created in this student collection as a column name. It will be represented as a column name. So we have created our entity, we have created the fields, and now we have to create getter and setters. Okay, now there's one more thing. We have to mark this id as a annotation, because this will be our primary key for that student object. So we have created our student entity. Now let's create a REST for this. So we have a student, so we'll name it as student REST controller. So for the REST controller we will mark this as a REST controller, and the other annotation we are going to use is request mapping, and here we'll provide a request mapping is API. So in our localhost, like we are going to use something like that. Localhost dot colon 8080 will be our server, and this will be the path of the common path. This will be the common path of our API. So all the others other method we are going to create, we have to put API before that. So let's get started. The first we need to create is public response entity string, and we will create first add students. Okay, add student, and this will take the parameter request body, and this will be required as a true. So by default it is true if we don't put this parameter, so it will not make any effect. So by default it is true, but it is a good practice to make it required as a true. And we'll put one map of string and string. This will be request map. So this method is going to be a post method, as we are directly saving that in the database. So we'll make it post mapping, and our API will be add student. Okay, so the final API will be API/that add student. So this will be the API. Now we need to create some operations here. So we are not directly going to write some logics in the REST controller. So REST controller is only to show the REST APIs, like the method, what this method is doing, and all the business logics we are going to make in the services. So we need to create a service to write some business logic. So let's make first try and catch block. So if it is any exception caused, so it will go inside that e.print stack trace. It will print that in the console, and here let's say if any exception arise, then we will return a response, and this will be something went wrong. And our HTTP status will be internal server error. So this will return the internal server error. So as you can see, this will return 500 status code. So status code will be visible here. So that is 200, and if there is any exception costs, then it will be 500. So we will get to know that there is a internal server error, and it is getting from the application. So here we are going to return the student service dot add student, and we are going to pass that request method. Okay, so this student service is not created right now. So first we need to create that student service. So this student service is a is an interface. So we are going to make an interface in the services. We have created that package. So we are going to make that student service as an interface, and here we have created a student interface, and we need to auto wire this student service in our REST controller. So we are going to auto wire it student service, and this student service is refer here, and right now we are going to create a method in our student service. So this will be the method add student, and this is directly calling from this side. So as basically this is the interface, we are not allowed to write the business logics in the interface. So we need to create an implementation class of this student service. IMPL, and we will implement this method, implement this interface, and as you can see, this is the method is overridden here. So now we are going to write some logics here, and before writing the logics we need to create a repository, because fetching from the database we need some repository to do this work. So in the repository package, we are going to create a repository, and this will be in the interface. So student repository, and this will be this will extend the interface, which will be Mongo repository. Yeah. So yes, we have created that, and one more thing we need to do on this implementation class, we have to put annotation service to make this available for the Spring application. So the Spring Boot will make the object of this class based on this service tag annotation, and we also have to put repository tag for this repository interface, so the Spring will know that this will act as a repository for the Spring application. So this will take two generic type. The first is the class type, and this will be our student class, because we are going to do operations related to the students. So we need this, and the other one is id, and our id is what type? Our id is integer type, so this will be that data type. Okay, so now we have created our repository, and we are going to auto wire it. So now we can do the operation related to that MongoDB with this repository. So first of all, we will need the request map. We have to create an object of student. So students equals to new student. So we have created a object for student, and we will set um, the students properties using the setter methods, and we will set all the name, address, contact number, and email in this student object, and we will directly save it to that student collection using the Mongo repository. So let me write the save code. So student repository dot save, and what we are going to save is student object. So currently it will save null, because we have not added any properties inside the student object. So first we need to add set id. So I'm going to set it as a 1. Later we will change it how to make this dynamic. So right now I'm just doing hard coding. Set address, so address will be, let's say, India. Okay, I'm not going to add the full address, so you can add it. So India. Student dot set contact number, so contact number will be 123 and all. Student dot set email, so email is student@abc.com, and the last one is student dot set name could be let's learn. Okay, so let's run this application, and we'll check our application is working or not. So from here, application, I'm going to start my application, and yes, we have to do one more thing. We have not given any connection of MongoDB to this Spring application, so we need to define some properties here to make a connection with this MongoDB and this Spring application. So we have two properties. Let me add. Okay, the first one is Spring Data Mongo URI. So this will be our connection string, and the other one is the Mongo database. So we will provide the name here. So for the connection string and for the DB name, we will go into our MongoDB client and we can see copy connection string. So this will be our connection string. As you can see, the root is our username and root is our password, and this is the host. Okay, and we are going to add the DB name. So our DB name is CRUD application. You can see here. So this is our DB name. So I'm going to put it here. Yes, that's it. So we have made a connection with our MongoDB with this Spring application, Spring Boot application. So I'm going to run it right now. So here, run as a Java application. So Spring application is not having any error. So we have created successfully a Spring application. So this will be our MongoDB, and if I am going to refresh it, so currently there is no data because we haven't hit any API. So our API is, we have created that localhost 8080 or running port, because as you can see here, this is our port 8080, and this is our request mapping common path, this API, and this will be our endpoint. So our endpoint is add student, and this method is what, post. So we'll make it post, and currently there will be no authentication, and we are going to put the body. So body will be raw and JSON. This should be JSON, and I'm putting empty JSON right now. So I'm going to send it, and yes, this status is 200, that is okay, and this is not returning any response because we have not created any response for the success, because as you can see here, we are returning null. So it is returning null. Okay, so let's check our database record is getting here or not. So we hit find. Yes, so this is the first record we have added successfully in our MongoDB database. So this is the name we have added, this is the country, this is the contact number, email, and this is our class. Okay, from where we are going to add, we have added our all the details. So this is hard coded, and how to make this dynamic. Okay, so we have not passed any parameter. If you have to make the dynamic, you have to pass the parameter inside that JSON data. So let's say if you pass name, let's say ABC, contact number, something like that, address UK, mobile number is done, email test@test.com, and there should be one more, ID, address, contact number, email, okay, ID. So ID 1, we have to put this 1 2 because 1 is already added, so it will give an error, or otherwise it will update the existing. Let me try with 1, so we will see how this will work. So first of all, if it is dynamic, we have to get this dot get, and this will be address, request map dot get, and contact number. For the contact number, we are using this key, so we will put it here. For the request map dot get, and for the email, we are using email key. For the name, we are using name key. yes, I think we have done. And for the ID, this as it is integer but our map is a string, so when we put something like that ID, so it will give an error because this will return the string, but our set ID return type should be integer. So what we have to do, we have to parse it into the integer. So we are going to write integer dot parse int, and we are going to put this. So this will return as a string, and a string will parse into the int, and it will set into the ID. So let me run the application again, and we'll see it will work or not. See, yes, application is started and running, and we are going to hit it. Yeah, this is giving 200. Okay, that means our record is added for this ID 1. So as you can see, at position 1 we have already this record. When we are going to find it again, yes, it is updated. So if you use the existing ID, so this will update the existing one, but if you, let's say, if you put another ID, so it is going to add the another one. If you are going to add the 3 and ABCD here, and if you send, so it will add at the third position ABCD. But let's say if at the third position you are going to add this number 9999, so this will work as the updation, so it is updated. So as you can see how to add um, our student object inside this. So this is our first API. Also you can make this auto generated. I mean, this will be auto generated. You do not need to pass it here in the postman. You can skip this step. So it will be auto generated when you click send button. So it will continuously adding instead of updating. So it will be consistently adding the object inside our collection. So we'll get it here later. Okay, I'll let you know how to make this. So as of now our first API is created, and we can also do one more thing. We can just pass return new response entity as a string, and here we can write data inserted successfully, and HTTP status will be okay. Okay means 200. Okay, as you can see, okay is 200. So I'm going to run this application again. Yeah, so let me hit that with ID 4, and when we send, yes, so data is inserted successfully. Yeah, we are getting the message along with the status code. So right now we are done, and let me do one more thing. If you, let's say, if you don't put, if you miss any of the key here, or you can, or you mistype that, let me write it here, mistype that key. Let's say it is contact numbers, and you are getting contact number. So what it will do, it will, okay, it will not consider this, but the data is inserted. So as you can see inside of MongoDB at 4 ID 4, because this is ID 4, at ID 4 we are not going to see any contact number because contact number is null. So it is not considering the contact numbers, as we are we are going to add the contact number. So contact number is not in our JSON data. So we have to handle this properly. So we will going to do it in the next video. Thank you all.